What's up, guys? Metal571 here, and today I'm going to be talking about the AKG K712 Pro. So these are, actually, I've reviewed a bunch of these AKGs in the past. I've never got around to this one, though, even though it was always one of the ones I always wanted to hear. But here it is. So what is this for? This is an open back dynamic headphone that's designed, according to AKG at least, for precision listening, mixing, and mastering. It's only 62 ohm drivers here, but you should note that these are not very sensitive, just like the original 701 and 702 that I've talked about in the past. But they can still be driven. It's just that you got to be, if you want to get them to be actually loud and properly sounding, then you have to have an amp for them. But otherwise, it's just important to note that don't let the impedance make you think this is a headphone you can drive off your phone or something like that. It's not really going to work very well for that. So the build quality here, actually, I wish they used a little bit less plastic. This is kind of an HD 600 design for the money. It's good, I mean, but I think you're still paying more for the sound quality here than the build quality. Your money is going towards that, much more so. This is using the classic, and it's been a while since I've done this on the camera, a classic headband here that AKG always uses. Actually works really well. This one, it's really superb in terms of comfort. This one is flat, no bumps or anything like they used to have. It's thinner, which I'm not sure why they made it thinner like that up top, but they did. You got the AKG up here. They have written. Actually, apparently, the headband is also made of real, genuine leather, which is nice. And but otherwise, there's just a lot of plastic going on here, and you get some removable cables though, which is nice. So in the box, you've got the first thing you get, and you see, is this carrying bags, has AKG on the side here. I mean, it's nice that it's there, but you know, would have been nicer to have like a hard shell or something than this. This is only going to protect it maybe from scratches or whatever, not from somebody sitting on it. You get this long straight orange cable, which has the mini XLR jack on one side and the 3.5mm 1/4-inch jack on the other side. You get this, of course, the usual screw-on adapter, as always. But you also get a coiled cable, which is cool, because then you have more of a pro headphone, or what should be considered a pro headphone. Ooh, sorry about that. And it's always good to have the coiled cable in the studio, so that you yank the headphones out of the headphone port out of nowhere. But yeah, so these are removable, which is nice. So that's definitely part of the design. All you got to do is you just connect this like that, and it clicks, and then you press a button on it and pull it, and that's it. So it's really I always liked that, the removable versions of the AKG's open back line here. So they give you that, at least. I mean, it's very plasticky build, but they give you that. The comfort is amazing. As I said, this is flat headband, and with this one, with this AKG, you get these memory foam pads, which are just friggin' great. They're so comfortable, really. This is amazing. This is probably one of the most comfortable headphones I've ever encountered. The only thing that stops it from beating the Beyerdynamic DT880 Premium in particular, the one with the really low clamp force. The only thing that really prevents it is that it has a little bit more clamp force than that, but not as much as the 600, which I would actually consider the least comfortable, yet it's still I have no problems with it at all. It just has a bit of a clampy nature, whereas these don't have as much of that. And you get this floating headband, which you just basically don't feel at all, and the pads are memory foam rather than just foam. So it's a good package from a build standpoint for comfort, but I wouldn't say they're the best build I've ever seen in the price range, that's for sure. So now that we have all of that out of the way, let's get to the part that everybody wants to hear about, which is the sound. So here we go, starting with the bass. Now, the bass on these is surprising, and it's surprising in a good way. Open back dynamic headphones do not tend to have very good bass extension. these do, which is unusual and in a very good way. This is probably one of the best extended bass responses I've heard from an open back headphone. And I'm talking about extension here. Quantity, I would say this is a little bit above neutral for some people who are looking for that flat line on a graph. However, you still get a little bit of roll off, and you're still going to have some problems once you go below maybe like 40 or 30 hertz. Then you're getting some noticeable roll off. But what's great about these as well is that, and I'll talk about EQ as we go on as usual, a little bit more later though. The bass here is so easily fixable. You can just give it that sub bass nudge it needs, and it's just like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. Whereas like most headphones, HD 600 is just like, yeah, we fail. Bye-bye. Yeah, so because harmonic distortion on the drivers of these open backs, dynamic headphones in general, just gets horrible. As you crank the bass a lot on an HD 600, and it will bleed straight into the upper bass region, because harmonic distortion basically means you're playing frequencies that are double, quadruple, that kind of thing, than the frequency you're trying to play. So if you turn up the low bass, the mid bass and the upper bass gets bloated. So it's not good. But these don't have that problem. It's very, very clean, fast, extended. It's all good. So the bass here is amazing. Probably the best you can get there for the price for an open dynamic headphone. I mean, the Fidelio X2 has a lot of bass too, but I don't seem to remember it being as defined and clean as you have here, which is nice. So the mid-range, which leads me to something that's real funky. The mid-range on these is just, it's way off. And that's actually a reason to buy them, which is interesting because, you know, you guys all know me as a neutral head, and I have to have my response and whatever. I forgive these, and if you watch some of my really old reviews, embarrassingly bad, I know, but I will say, and I'll say this again here, this headphone is not really accurate in the mid-range at all, but I don't care. And that's because this is more of a flavor headphone, the way I see it, and it's something different and more exciting sounding than an HD 600, which kind of just gives you a blank stare of a sound. These are more lively. So first of all, the low part of the mid-range is real boosted, and this really wide like peak, not even a peak, just like a really wide really wide elevation to the low mids, which gives guitars and voices a very unusual and unnatural level of warmth. So your ears get really confused when you first put these on. That's how I feel about them, but they adjust with time, and it's not really that bad. But the mids and the upper mids, you got a very strange graph. If you look at the graph of these things, you've got like a peak that goes to 2K and then just kind of dies instead of continuing to reach its peak at 3.5K or 3K where it's supposed to be. It goes to 2K, it dies, and then it goes up again a little bit of 4K, and then it just goes back down. And then you have the treble, which is also messed up, but I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. So the mid-range has got this 2K shout, but it's not like really forward. It's not like really annoying, but it's got a shout to it, which actually tends to give music an interesting sound and a different sound than you'd be used to listening to all Sennheiser's stuff. So it's exciting. It's not flat. It's quick though. You got lots of detail. It's just that the tuning is really, really messed up. But I don't really mind it that much because it gives it an interesting character. And that's something I've always thought about AKG's headphones. This is actually somewhat consistent with my old reviews. My old reviews would say, oh yeah, I love these, and the bass is perfectly fine. Well, back then I was using like almost no bass. These have a lot more than the old AKG's, the X7XX line. So they fixed that problem. But yeah, the mid-range mess upness is still here. So there you go. Treble though, as usual, they've got their diffuse field peaks in here. I'm having problems with 6K and 11K on this particular unit. It might vary from unit to unit exactly where those peaks are, but it sounds like it's got the usual dual spike thing that like Beyerdynamic likes to put in their headphones to emulate their diffuse field response. I hate it. I don't think it sounds realistic at all. It's that way here as well, but again, it's not like unlistenable. It's not like a DT990 treble or something stupid. It's you can get along with this thing with some genres, but I'm just warning you with a lot of other genres, brighter genres. Trance comes to mind. Poorly mastered rock and metal with all the cymbals will eat your face apart with these peaks in the treble here. So I'm not a big fan of that. But once again, EQ can fix it. So it's not that bad. It's forgivable. The treble is very extended. It's very fast. This is a very, very clean driver, much cleaner than the other AKGs I've reviewed in the past. So they've done something really special while maintaining that strange 2K mid-range peak tuning for some reason. They never bothered to fix it. They just kind of kept it. But they increased the bass, and they made everything just more detailed and faster and quicker, and it's an improved version of 702 or 701 or Q701 or any of those, really. That's what this is, and I think they did a good job nailing that. They just didn't really change the sound signature fundamentally. So, as I said earlier, in conclusion here, definitely a different headphone, a totally legitimate alternative to the 600, the 650, that kind of stuff. And it's come down in price. As of this video, these are running around $299, which I think is a great value. If you're looking for something to complement your Sennheisers that's not as boring and blank and gives you a little bit more oomph, actually, literally more oomph in the bass here, and more extension. And the soundstage, wow, somehow completely missed the soundstage. The soundstage on these is also much wider than the Sennheisers. Speaking of more exciting, definitely is. It's wider. It's still got good imaging. Doesn't really sound the same as I remember the K712 sounding, where it had the hole in the middle image and then just huge wide everything. This one just kind of fills that in better. And you've got the full range. This has, again, one of the widest sound stages I've heard. And the price range beats the crap out of the Sennheisers on soundstage, beats the crap out of the Sennheisers on speed, loses miserably on on tuning, but it's fixable via EQ, and you kind of want something different. That's what AKG seems to have always offered with this line, in my opinion. So that's what I think, and I hope you enjoyed my impressions on the 712. Definitely something to give a shot next time you see one around, which is rare because I don't see too many of them around, but they've come down again in price, so give it a shot. Thanks, guys. I got lots more coming up because I've got that Lumoid drop. This review was supposed to be posted about a week ago, but I got sick. I recovered. I'm good now, and you'll see lots of reviews coming up very soon after this one. See ya.